What would a fifth title mean for LeBron?
Well, first of all, his legacy is already cemented as one of the greatest players to have ever lived.
Rightfully so, yes.
We certainly don't want to throw any shade on that as far as I'm concerned, although I think that a fifth title by Steph Curry at this stage of his career, if he were to surpass LeBron James, would warrant a discussion about that Mount Rushmore. LeBron is going to be on my Mount Rushmore as number 2 all time. That's how I feel about him. Having said that, I will acknowledge that I have found it insulting for anybody to think that he belongs above Michael Jordan. If he were to win a fifth title this year, I would no longer feel insulted by that discussion. I would have to concede that, yeah, I still ain't putting him above Jordan, but I understand others who might think otherwise. Because for him to take this team from where it was to where it is now, albeit Rob Pelinka deserves a whole bunch of credit for what he's been able to pull off with the trades that brought 4 different players, not just 2 or whatever, 4, in Beasley and Hachimura and Vanderbilt and Russell. The fact of the matter is LeBron is the leader of the pack. And for him to turn around in his 20th season and to play the way that he's played and to find his way to capture a 5th NBA championship in his career, this particular season at this stage of his career, I mean, listen, it would warrant a discussion as the greatest player to have ever played this game. Still wouldn't get it from me over Michael Jordan, but it would warrant a discussion. I'll have to admit that.
This is a great example, and there are many on the history of this show, but this is a perfect example of the contradictions of Stephen A. Because you just said, no, Stephen A., I'm not putting words in your mouth. I am literally, you just said LeBron is number 2. He is number 2.
Yep.
If he wins a 5th, there's a discussion to be had. Last week, on this very show, while I sat at this very table, you said if Steph Curry wins a 5th championship, you're taking LeBron off the Mount Rushmore.
No.
How do you go? No.
I didn't say that.
How do you go from number 2 to number 5 if you're only putting one extra person on the Mount Rushmore? The math doesn't check out.
Can I quote you? Since you asked me a question, what I said was, if not LeBron, what are we gonna do with Russell and Kareem? Because they say they don't want to remove Russell because of the 11 titles. They say they don't want to remove Kareem because of his resume, and I'm not removing Jordan. That's what I said.
I'm not removing LeBron. LeBron is, doesn't matter what happens the rest of the season, he's number 2.
Okay.
He's number 2.
Okay.
And if you're moving one guy in, if it's Steph, you can't take LeBron off. So
okay.
I want to clarify
then
that.
It'll be Russell.
And I'll answer the question here. I'll answer the question here. To me, regardless of what happens, LeBron's number 2. LeBron is number 2. And whether you talk about careers or the player themselves, the killer instinct, the fear factor, all of that stuff, I think for the large majority of people that watched the NBA in the 1990s, Jordan is their all-time, and there's nothing that can really be done to take him off that top spot.
80s and 90s.
LeBron to me, if you're going to have Jordan 1, LeBron is 1A. And there's nothing that can be done in the future, whether it's winning or losing, that's gonna change that for anyone. So I don't think it affects his legacy at all. I agree with your original point, which LeBron James, his legacy is firmly cemented.
So JJ, are the Suns better off without CP3?
No, they're not. They're not. But it's easy to say they're better off because they won these 2 games. I think if you look at the numbers there, what do you see? You see a big increase in offensive productivity. You see a decrease in defensive efficiency. It was inevitable after that game 2 when the Denver Nuggets defense got really physical with Book and Kevin Durant that they would try to play faster. What has happened, Stephen A., in games 3 and 4? They've changed the rotation. They put the offensive guys in. It's less Okogie, it's less Torrey Craig, it's Terrence Ross and Shamet and T.J. Warren, who had 2 big buckets in game 3 in the 4th quarter. that has been a bigger boost to the Phoenix Suns and their chances of winning than CP being out of the lineup. I just don't buy that for a second.
Well, you're wrong, but I understand because I started off the show somewhat anyway being a bit emotional about the Knicks. And I'm quite sure you're a bit emotional about CP3, as we all are, because he's a great point guard, a future Hall of Famer, a phenomenal player, and certainly long-term and all that. So we're not talking about that. We're just talking about this series. They've looked better without him than they did with him. Now, that's not entirely his fault. But here's what I would tell you. Because CP3, he holds the ball a little bit more, okay, and obviously the pace is a bit slower with Cameron Payne in there and with Monty Williams finally using his bench, a bench that I think he would have been more hesitant to use if CP3 were healthy enough to be in the lineup. That's where it's not fault, but it's just that they've looked better without him. I think we have to take that into consideration. We also got to take this into consideration. Listen, do you know Denver's defense has been so bad it's had me thinking about the Kiki Vandeweghe, Alex English era? That's how bad Denver's defense has been. I'm just looking at their defensive field goal percentage the last 2 games. Jeff Green, 72%. That's what he's yielding. These guys are the people that they're guarding. This is what people are scoring on them at a percentage rate. 72% Jeff Green. Jokic, 61%. Michael Porter Jr., 59%. Caldwell Pope, 56%. Aaron Gordon, 55%. I mean, nobody's playing defense for the Denver Nuggets, which is what Coach Mike Malone pointed out, said they left their defense in the desert. I think he meant, somewhere in the mountain, in Denver, Colorado. I don't know. But the point is, they've looked horrid defensively. Devin Booker has looked like a flat-out superstar. But in the end, what it comes down to is this. CP3, about as old as you, pretty close to it, JJ, right? Not as old as me, but old as you, what I'm saying? And he's not as healthy as he used to be and, a little bit slower. And as great as he is, this team looks younger and more spry without him right now. And with Devin Booker having the ball in his hands more, too.
Stephen, it's not just him. It's like a complete revamping of the rotation. And I didn't
but it wouldn't have happened if he was still there.
Landale, who has been
He's been very good
and impactful.
He's been very good. He's been very good.
So it's like if you change 4 guys out of the lineup and the 5th guy is CP, well, you're
I'm saying would they have done it if he was there?
Come on, man.
No, I'm saying would they have done it if he were there? That's my only point. Would they have done that if he were there?
All right.
That's all I'm asking. Okay, that's all I'm asking.
I think
that's the only question.
I think it's been more about their offensive production from the bench and Jock Landale coming in and playing more minutes and having an impact
and
defensively.
I'm saying I agree with you.
Rebounds, all that stuff. Yeah.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.